I guess the opponent you haven't played yet is kind of unique for this time of the year. What have you guys seen from Tech?
You seen that? I mean, they're not giving up. I mean, they were down with 20-something against Iowa State, and we see that they're going to play hard, and we got to come out and play hard, and it's not a let-up game. So yeah.
How do you you could look at their conference record and feel like this is kind of a let-off game. How do you keep the mindset of the past however many games that you guys have played?
Yeah, go ahead, answer that.
I feel like we just got to keep working on ourselves, knowing that our task isn't with them. It's about getting better for our team every day. It's just like making sure that we get better so we can reach our end goal. And this is just a bump on the highway that we're trying to get over. So that's all that is. We're just trying to get better and just don't sleep on them and execute every game like how we have been doing.
With that, you guys are closing in on the NCAA tournament. How is it? I mean, obviously you guys know and you guys see the records and where you need to be. Is it hard to kind of put the outside noise and Twitter and all that stuff away and just play basketball, especially with a game like Tech coming up?
I don't think it's hard because I feel like that's been our goal from the jump, was to make the tournament, and so I feel like everyone is actually like super locked in and we're not really worried about social media stuff, and like of course like we see like the last four in and all that stuff, like we see that stuff, but it's more like motivation for us to do better.
Caleb, what was going for you on Saturday? You had your best game of the season in terms of scoring.
I would just hit the shots and just stepped up pretty much. That's all Coach told me to do, just step up, and he told everybody to step up, and that's what I kind of tried to do.
What did it mean to you to get your first start of the year as well?
It felt cool. It was cool. It's different from starting in the Sun Belt. And yeah, it was cool.
Walk me through that steal and the step back, that real quick moment you had there.
Oh yeah, I knew he was gonna throw that pass because he don't like dribbling the ball up the court. So I was like, let me gamble real quick. But if I didn't get that steal, it would have been bad. So yeah, and I stole it. Then he didn't guard me. It was kind of weird, so I shot it.
When did you find out you were gonna start?
Shoot around. Found out doing shoot around.
Is there any nerves behind that, especially going up against TCU?
I feel like I treat every game the same, pretty much.
What makes it different starting in the Sun Belt and starting here?
The games are bigger. I feel like the games mean. I mean, I'm not saying the games mean nothing there, but they mean more here. I feel like because every game here is a tough one. And I feel like in the Sun Belt we had some games where I could be like, I can take one off. And here you can't do that.
Caleb, when did you know? Yeah, like this whole Oklahoma State thing, me coming here, it kind of worked out.
You said when did I know?
Yeah. Was there a point in the season or in the off season or a game this season? Like when did you kind of?
I feel like in the off season I kind of feel like I knew I made the right choice because it felt like a family environment. Like for one, and for two, like all the guys like brought me in, and it wasn't like no fake love here. So that was the main thing.
And coming out of the Sun Belt, finally, you get that start. You have that points total. I mean, what did it take to get to this point? Staying on course and not giving in and not putting my head down because I'm not starting. I mean that's everyone's dream is to start, but just being productive is really my main thing. I just want to be productive.
When you were at Mike had talked on Saturday that people who take the JUCO route kind of have a chip on their shoulder that some people might not have. Do you still have that from your days at Ranger?
Yeah, I feel like I've always felt like I've been slept on like all my life. So going JUCO and then going like mid-major, I definitely play with a chip on my shoulder for sure.
I think Ranger, Texas State, and then with what John Michael has kind of done with his High Point route. Do you feel like there are any similarities there? Of maybe both come from the same mindset coming to the Big 12?
Yeah, I feel like especially with John, like seeing John, like he definitely plays with a chip on his shoulder too, because he's a little guard and people look over little guards, and yeah, that's the thing.
Woody, you guys have had some games where you've led at the half and the other teams come back into the game and you've ended up losing some of those, but on Saturday you guys were able to kind of rally and win. What do you think is the main factor behind that all these months into the season?
That we're really locked in and we're behind each other. Coach Mike talked about that we had to be the tougher team, and through all the practices and all the dark days that we had, like you said, we lost some games like that, and that like we should win games like this, and this is our home court. Like that we had to come out and finish the game, so that's all that was. And this is an old team, and we knew what we had to do to come out with that W at the end of the day.
Do you think that's a sign of maturity for this group?
Absolutely, you know, because like you said, like we lost plenty of games where we was up at half, you know, like people start playing like Superman basketball, trying to shoot every shot or bad shots, you know, but we stayed calm, collected, and took good shots, defended down the stretch, and we just was a tougher team at the end of the game to come up with the W that we needed.
What do you think's factored into that toughness? How do you guys think you've gotten to this point?
All right, man.
Yeah. Everybody's everybody's bought in this last month and a half, you know, everybody just been working on their games, just believing in the coaching staff, the game plans, you know, just trying to execute it to the best of our ability because we work so hard at it in practice. So we just try to implement what we do in practice into the game, and it's been working.
What's the difference between Caleb Boone now and July?
Now in July,
Confidence.
Yeah.
Man, he's playing like he's telling us, give me the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say no to him. He's scoring it every time he gets it. And he's just playing with confidence, and he just look good. Give it to him.
Woody, for you, Syracuse obviously play a lot of 2-3 zone. When did it start clicking for you, this aggressive style of man that Mike likes to run?
I really say I really got my feet back wet, like full, like comfortableness this year. You know, like last year it was a struggle because like going from a year zone to a year to aggressive man, denying ball screens, everything. It was like I was fish out of water. So you know, I feel like I really got comfortable like this year at the start of this year. You know, and I feel like it's shown. You know, I've been able to guard 1 through 4, guard in the post, guard ball screens, all that. So I feel like this year has really like me getting back to my defensive roots.
Do you have examples of when maybe you weren't as locked in or weren't as good at guarding man-to-man as you've come to be?
Examples, like for example, I remember last year one of the games I played against Cleveland State. It was a shooter on their team, and it was just preaching, trail him the whole game. And as soon as I got in the game, I went under and he made a 3. Coach Mike was high, took me out of the game. You know, so that's just an example. You know, like with me now, I'm more locked in. I'm more comfortable getting over that getting over that screen, attaching to his hip and trailing it and making him shoot over top of me at 6'9". You know, so that's just a little example. You know, yeah.
You guys have talked about how you're locked in. How much of that is knowing that the NCAA tournament is possible this year, and only in about a month?
I feel like that's a big deal, you know, because last year, you know, that kind of, I want to say that took a toll on our team last year, made us not as locked in as we needed to be. But, you know, this is an old team. A lot of guys haven't been to the NCAA tournament on this team, and there has been guys that have been. So we all just want to get there, you know. Like for me personally, when I was at Syracuse, we went to the Sweet 16, so I'm just itching to get back to that, you know. So I feel like that just like gives us an even bigger chip, you know, to really come out and work hard and dominate our opponents.
Woody, how would you explain that the trip to the NCAA tournament to a teammate that hasn't been there before? How would you explain it?
Tell me, I ain't never been.
To be honest, I don't even want to. I feel like it was COVID. It was COVID, so it was really stressful because we was in a hotel for like a whole month and a half, just not being able to do nothing. But like the atmosphere was still good, so I'm only expecting it to be 100 times better now that it's no restrictions and stuff like that. So when we get there to Sweet 16, I'll let you know then.
Caleb, I don't know if you're a big like Joe Lunardi guy, like refreshing all his tweets and stuff, seeing where all the teams kind of slot in. But how motivating is tournament berth for you? How did
It's super motivating. This is my 5th year in college, and I ain't never been. So it's always been on my checklist, and it's actually been on the top of my checklist for since I was a kid. So it's huge, really.
Did you grow up watching it?
What the tournament?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Who'd you root for growing up?
Ooh, I can't say because they're in this conference, and it's Baylor.
Okay,
I was a Baylor fan.
Down south, okay.
And I'm from Austin, so it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Was that high on the priorities when you were looking through in the transfer portal, looking at teams that might be able to go to the tournament?
Yeah. That was the main thing. Like, are they a tournament team, and how well is the coach with his players? That was the biggest thing.
Oklahoma State, I mean, they haven't been a tournament team like regularly the last several years. What about this team made you think, hey, like I can get to the tournament at OSU?
I seen players like Woody. Like I seen like basically I did like my research on my own. So I went back and looked at everyone. I was like, this is a good team. Like Musa, I seen him. I was like, I ain't never played with a footer in my life. So I was like, I got a shot blocker. I got guys who can create for me and for themselves, and I feel like this team had all that.
So when you look at a team like this, and then you get a healthier Avery back, and you get a healthier Musa back, how dangerous can this team be with how confident and how well you're playing right now?
Super dangerous. I feel like we're for sure a top 15 team in the country when we're healthy and playing the way we're supposed to play.
When you were doing your research, outside of Musa, who stands out quite a bit, who else stood out? Did you know any of the Texas kids? You're a little bit older than most of them, but
Yeah. I mean, of course, you know Avery and them. They're on Baller's Life and all that stuff. So yeah, Avery, and then I was seeing KB because him and his brother were twins. So I kind of
Anything else? Cool. We're